Let me go to line 2. Senator Cassidy. My apologies. No, we were just talking about Chappaquiddick, the movie.
Yeah.
And so I had that name in my head. I mean, I'm getting old, Senator. I mean, it's just part of the aging process. How are you? I'm sorry for that mistake.
No problem. I'm not sure Kennedy's wife would appreciate that you're connecting him with Chappaquiddick, even though the last name is the same.
oh, my God, Jesus. I forgot about Senator Kennedy from Louisiana.
You got to be careful there, Joe.
I'm telling you, it's time to put me away somewhere. Well, what do you?
Somebody said John Kennedy from Louisiana has made a big impact. They've already named buildings after him.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. He is funny at times. He really is.
Yep,
he really is. Now, how have you been?
I am doing incredibly well. I'm in Louisiana right now. It is gorgeous weather. Going over to Lafayette for an opioid roundtable. Opioid crisis has hit our state. It's hit it hard. There's families who have been so terribly affected. Some, people dying. So we're trying to make a big effort for healthier communities, safer families. We're going over to Lafayette to start this initiative. In case anybody listening wants to join us.
Well, that's good. I appreciate all that you're trying to do, but I've got some hard-nosed attitudes towards all of that stuff, and that stems from the fact that a little over 40 years ago, I had my last drink of alcohol. And so I've been around people who have substance abuse problems for a long part of my life. And, I don't know. Sometimes maybe I'm too hard-nosed about it all. Tell me what you've got in mind. I know you've got some legislation that you've introduced relative to opioid addictions, and I mean, you should stretch that to all kinds of drug addiction. But,
well, we're just hitting it all over, man. We're trying to go after the drugs being brought in from Mexico. We're trying to go after physicians two types of physicians. Some physicians, very small number, are writing pills knowing they're writing too many and doing it on purpose in order to put money in their pocket, so-called pill mills. And then there's another group of docs who just happen to write too many prescriptions. I mean, too much per prescription. So they're not being evil, but they'll give a 30-day supply with 2 refills when really 1 week supply would be enough. What we've learned is that there's a few folks who are genetically predisposed to addiction. If you give them a 30-day supply, they will end up an addict. Or if they don't take the pills and somebody goes into the medicine cabinet and takes them, then maybe that somebody who goes into the medicine cabinet ends up addicted. So we're going after the supply, we're going after the demand, how do we get better treatment, and we're going after the financing, how do people money launder their profits.
Well, I'll tell you, from my own lifetime experience, and I've had members of my family, my brother died from AIDS because he was a heroin addict. Let me tell you this, one of the things that you find on the streets is doc shopping. People who are addicted to pain medications, they've got more tricks up their sleeve on how to get medication out of doctors. And I mean doctors that are not pill factories or that sort of thing. They'll go to you
Yep.
I mean, and I'm telling you, and I don't know how to stop that. I wish I had some ideas or in terms of a solution to that problem. But we got some ideas. We got some ideas, man. CenturyLink is a company in Monroe, Louisiana. It's a Fortune 200 company. And they've hooked up with some folks, a veteran-owned business that uses a pre-existing database. Whenever a prescription is written across the country, filled, and someone gets it from the pharmacy, it goes into this database. And so they can put Bill Cassidy, your listeners may know I'm a doctor, and they can put me either as the patient or the guy writing the prescriptions, and on a real-time basis, they can see what I'm doing. So it's a way for another physician to search for somebody's name, put your name in, boom, have you got any prescriptions lately, and immediately know how many you filled recently. Now
There's another data. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's a great way to do it, and all of a sudden it dawned on me,
I got some Claret the other day, and I had to give them my driver's license, and they took all kinds of information, and they had to get it from behind the counter and what have you. Is that the kind of databases that you're talking about? The same thing?
Well, that is just a controlled substance. They're saying, for whatever reason, I don't think of Claritin D being that, but but still, that's just the pharmacist going an extra step. There is a database right now that whenever a doc writes a prescription, it goes into the database. It's only for Louisiana, so if somebody lives in Sulphur and is going to Beaumont, or lives in Shreveport and is going to Arkansas, Texas, and Mississippi, it may or may not catch the other states. And so we also have legislation taking the database we're currently using that's state-based and getting that used more effectively, but at the same time pushing this first database I mentioned, which I think is just a better one to fool with.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm happy to hear that you're involved in this kind of legislation. I mean, something has to be done, no doubt about it. And the technologies that are available today, I imagine, can go a long way in helping mitigate this problem. It ain't never going away 100%, but it can be mitigated a great deal.
Well, Joe, think about it, man. Praise God you got off of alcohol, but you and I both know people who, man, not really sure why they were different from you, but they did not get off of alcohol, and they're either dead or their life destroyed, etc.
Let me tell you, it's heartbreaking. It really is. I've been blessed in the years that I've been fortunate to be sober and working with alcoholics to see them that don't get it. I mean, it is heartbreaking, and it destroys families. I mean, it's just, And so if you're doing this with opioids, I certainly hope your legislation does get through all that it has to get through, and the other thing that I understand you're involved in talking about healthcare and that sort of thing is price transparency in healthcare.
Yeah, man, we're really Joe. Have you ever gotten? Everybody has their own story. Have you ever got a blood test or an X-ray, gotten the bill 6 weeks later, and you can't believe just how much you just got charged?
You know what gets me today? I'm on Medicare. I'm retired. I'm on Medicare. I got a GAP program. I got, and what amazes me is I get these reports and they tell me how much the charge was and how much is actually being paid, and the difference in those prices is like unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, but because Medicare is paying, you get the lower price. If you go in and you either don't have insurance or your insurance doesn't cover it because you have renegotiated the price, you'll end up being billed a higher price.
I'm losing you, Senator. Where are you, Atchafalaya?
I'm on the Atchafalaya.
I keep losing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Heck.
You're back.
Okay. So if you don't have insurance and you've not pre-negotiated a price, you're going to have to pay that higher price. We're trying to change that. We want to make it so that if you go into the doctor and she orders a test, you know the price of that test before you have it done. If you want, you can go someplace cheaper, and you also have some measure of quality. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to buy medical procedures the same way you buy blue jeans or cell phones.
Oh, there's no reason why you shouldn't know what the price is up front. Make no mistake about it. No, you're right. But
our goal is it'll be like getting a plane ticket. If you know you want to go from Lake Charles to Boston, you log on, you see what time you want to go, the day you want to go, the price you pay. If you don't like the price, you go a different time or a different day or maybe a different city. And so we want that to be the same for getting your X-rays. And so we think that would help the patient, lower the cost of medicine, and save our country a heck of a lot of money.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt, Well, listen, Senator, have I still got you for a while? I don't know what your time is.
I'm on for about another 5 minutes if you want me.
Good. Well, okay. With everything that is going on in your world, I watched yesterday some of the questioning of Pompeo, and I'll tell you, there were some senators, they're just looking for FaceTime and asking him questions that have nothing whatsoever to do with the office of Secretary of State, and it was rather disturbing to me. What is you think he'll get eventually be nominated? He's nominated. Do you think he'll eventually be approved by the Senate?
I think so. There's some folks who don't like his replacement at the CIA. And so if they vote against him, it won't be based on the fact that he is up for state. It's that they don't want his replacement at the CIA. And so I can't speak for him. I think Rand Paul, for example, has concerns about his replacement at the CIA. So that may, and I don't know how Rand's voting on Pompeo, but that may play a role in whether Trump gets his appointee.
Jeez, why? I mean, what kind of convoluted logic goes on there? I don't like that. I mean, doesn't the Senate have to consent to the head of the CIA?
That is true, absolutely, but it's very much connected in some people's minds.
Oh, my God.
The woman at the CIA, by the way, although some people object because she supposedly oversaw enhanced interrogation under the Bush administration. Some people call it torture. The Obama administration kept her on. Now, the Obama administration obviously hated the Bush administration, was trying to weed out everybody that was connected with some of the things they saw as negative, and yet they kept her. And by all accounts, by all the other previous CIA directors, she is an incredibly accomplished woman who loves our country and will work hardest to protect us from foreign terrorists. So from what I've learned of her, she's a good pick.
I mean, it just amazes me. I mean, well, first of all, I've been waterboarded when I was in the Marine Corps through survival school. And it's not torture. Oh, it'll get you to start talking. Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, you know, if you go out and waterboard some 80-year-old lady, that's one thing. If you waterboard somebody that's involved in a war, that's something else. But I mean, she didn't. Was that her idea to do that? She oversaw. What was she going to do? Not do it?
It wasn't her idea. She was apparently the station chief, from what I understand. The station chief at a site where some of these took place. She did not begin it, but she came in kind of midway. And so she is associated with it, which is why some on the left and on the right, John McCain feels very strongly about this. Obviously, he was tortured, so he's got a strong position on it. But I'm not sure that her particular role disqualifies her.
Yeah, exactly.
From being...
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. If she's got a track record and she loves the country.
The other thing the left doesn't like, Joe, is she's a woman, and I think I understand the left doesn't want Trump to have any success appointing women to high positions.
I got to laugh, you know, fully. I mean, okay, that's just funny to me that the left doesn't want to see a woman succeed because, Trump's going to make the appointment. Oh, okay, that's smart.
Hey, you saw that with Wendy Vitter. David Vitter's wife is up to be a judge. Her sin, if you will, is that she's pro-life and that she's a woman, and the left wants to make out like no woman can be a Republican and be pro-life, and so they've been going after Wendy left and right, even though Wendy is eminently qualified to be a federal judge.
Oh no, you're absolutely correct. They're going after, and they're going after because who she's married to. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, I don't know how you exist and how you survive in that environment, that kind of intellectual environment. It just doesn't make sense to me, not at all. If the person's qualified to do the job, then go with them. If not, then get rid of them. I don't know, Senator. It's a frustrating time for us out here on the front lines of life.
Well, all I can say, Joe, is we've got an incredible country. It's worth fighting for. We've seen tremendous progress economically under President Trump, and Southwest Louisiana is one of the best examples of it, but it's not the only example. So we have to keep on plugging, knowing the other side has a different vision, and there's nothing wrong with them personally. They're just wrong.
Well,
and so we have to continue to push that agenda, which makes all Americans prosperous, not just a few.
Well, I'm glad to hear that from you, Senator. Just don't give up the battle. You got. I won't. I know you won't. I don't think you will, anyway.
Absolutely not, man. I don't have the privilege to be a Marine, but I'm going to just adopt that Marine ethic, which is don't quit, keep fighting, push on. We're going to win.
Well, let me give you one of my Marine Corps lessons. When confronted with a problem, adapt, improvise, and overcome. Sounds simple, but sometimes it's rather complex.
But it is a great word. Hey, Joe, I got to jump off. Thanks for having me, sir.
Senator, thank you for calling. I wish you well. I wish your legislation well. Hey, stay in touch.
Will do. Thank you.
You've been listening to Random Thoughts here on Super Talk 1400 KAOK.